in the 1950s. Marlboro held only 1% of the total cigarettes market in the US. So it wasn't a failure, but it wasn't a very big success either. So Philip Morris noticed this very strange gap that the science recommended filtered cigarettes, but men actively denied it, because men didn't want to appear as soft and cautious. So this very strange gap created one of the biggest marketing opportunities in history. And instead of changing their product, they decided that they are gonna change the story of their company. So they went to Leo Burnett, one of the biggest advertising geniuses in history. So they took their feminine cigarettes and turned them into one of the most masculine symbols in the world. So they tried various characters to promote their brand as something very masculine. They tested all these masculine characters of sailors, athletes, construction workers, but none of those characters were timeless. And eventually, they ended up choosing the cowboy as their hero. And this idea gave birth to the Marlboro Man. The most famous cowboy was Darrell Winfield, who was the Marlboro Man for over 20 years. And that's when everything exploded. Their sales went from $5 billion per year to 20 in just 2 years. And that's when Marlboro went from a small brand to a global icon. And then Marlboro entered into Formula One and started sponsoring teams like Ferrari and McLaren. And the reason they entered into Formula One is because Formula One also represented speed and risk. It's not a cowboy, but it also was very masculine. But behind all these skyrocketing sales and brand dominance, there was a deadly cost. And there is even something that Marlboro is actively trying to hide. Some Marlboro men that worked for the company actually died because of smoking-related illnesses. And then eventually what happened is media outlets started to ask very uncomfortable questions. And what was even worse, after all those uncomfortable questions, followed lawsuits and the government actions. And in 1971, the government first banned the advertisements of cigarettes and also ordered to put labels and some graphic images on the cigarettes that cigarettes are gonna cause damage to your lungs and your health. So now something that was meant to be advertised as a symbol of freedom, now it's no longer legal. And this was actually the end of the cowboy era. This is actually the power of marketing, because Marlboro didn't just prove that it has a very great branding, but they created a hero, a legend that still lives in our minds. But it doesn't exist for over 50 years now. And despite everything, Marlboro now accounts for 30% of the world's cigarettes market. And it is still sold in over 150 countries, without any billboards and without any cowboys.